This is your Q&A time, writing at 240 words per minute. Your proper names are Taylor, North Clearview, Maple Street, New Orleans, Louisiana, St. Mary, East or West Jefferson, Dr. Leon, Christmas, and St. Bernard Highway. Okay, where's the... Ready? How fast were you traveling when you first saw the Taylor vehicle?
I don't know. I was just leaving a red light and I was looking at the road.
So you were speeding up at this time?
No, sir.
You were approaching the red light. You're proceeding through the red light. Did you see the Taylor vehicle before you got up to the cruising speed that you were maintaining on North Clearview?
Actually, I did not proceed through the red light. I waited until it became green.
Once it turned green, were you speeding up when you initially saw the Taylor vehicle?
No, sir. I was just departing the red light. I had only gotten about a half a block. Therefore, I was just applying gas just to go with the traffic, the normal traffic speed.
Was there an automobile in front of you?
No, sir. I was the first automobile at the light.
What was the customary traffic speed?
On that street, it's only a steady 35. There's another signal light a couple of blocks down, so you actually can't go that rapidly.
So when you initially saw the Taylor vehicle, do you think you were going about 35 miles an hour?
I don't know.
Could you be going more than 35 miles an hour?
No, sir.
You were going less than 35 miles an hour when you first saw the Taylor vehicle?
I assume. I was not looking at the speedometer at the time, no.
Okay, how fast were you traveling when you initially applied the brakes?
I don't remember. I just applied the brakes and I wasn't speeding. I had just taken off from the signal light, so I had only gotten 200 feet or so.
So you think that you were going 35 miles per hour or less when you went to apply the brakes?
That's what I would assume.
How far away from the Taylor vehicle were you when you first saw the vehicle?
I really couldn't give you an exact distance of feet because I can't judge that, but it happened in such a short period of time that I couldn't avoid him. So I'd estimate maybe 60, 70 feet, somewhere up in that distance.
How far away were you when you initially applied your brakes?
As soon as I saw him proceeding out in front of me, I guess I was close to maybe 50 feet away from him when I think I first started.
Ron, what injuries are you alleging from this accident?
My lower back hurt me, and I had problems with my neck and a headache.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Could you tell me your address, please?
It's 523 Maple Street.
Where's that located?
New Orleans.
Do you reside with your parents currently?
Correct, sir.
Have you resided there all of your life?
Well, since I was 4 years old.
Do you have a Louisiana driver's license?
Yes, sir.
Do you wear contacts?
On occasion.
Were you wearing glasses or contacts on the day of this accident?
I believe I had my contacts in. I'm not certain.
Do you have your contacts on presently?
No, sir.
How long have you had a prescription for contact lenses or glasses?
Glasses since I was in elementary school.
Who is your eye physician?
It has been so long since I have been that I've forgotten his name.
Do you remember the last time you went to the eye doctor?
It's approximately 6 years.
Your date of birth is 4/1974, so that would make you 20?
21.
Well, your driver's license says under 21.
That is because I got it when I was 19 and they never did change it. I never did get my new one.
I assume you're not married, is that correct?
Yes.
You have no children?
No, sir.
You stated that after the accident that you were taken to the hospital. Which hospital was that?
It was St. Mary. I think that is where they took me to.
By ambulance?
Yes.
Immediately after the accident, did you have any pain anywhere on your body?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Do you recall what happened once you got to the hospital?
I know they were just moving me around here, moving me around there, and taking me here. No, I don't.
Do you recall talking with the doctor who examined you or anything that a doctor may have said to you regarding what was wrong with you on that day?
To tell the truth, no.
To back up for a moment, have you been involved in any automobile accidents prior to this accident?
1.
Approximately when was that?
Well, 2, really. I had one right after this accident, and then I had one in the 80s. I don't remember the year.
The accident in the 1980s, do you recall what happened with that accident? What were the facts of that accident?
Somebody ran a signal light.
Ran a signal light and hit you?
Yes.
Were you hit broadside or from behind?
Broadsided, I think it was.
Do you remember where this accident occurred?
Right there on Judge Perry and Old Hickory at the light.
Do you recall if you had any injuries from that accident?
Yes.
What kind of injuries did you have?
My back, my neck, my leg.
Did you treat with a physician for those symptoms?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember what physician you treated with?
Dr. Leon.
Do you recall how long you treated with him for these symptoms?
Not really, no.
Did you treat with any other doctors for this accident?
He had sent me out to one of the hospitals, East or West Jefferson. I don't remember, really.
At East or West Jefferson, did you undergo physical therapy? Is that what he determined you should do?
No, it was some kind of test they gave me.
Do you recall how long your symptoms lasted before they went away?
It was a good year, I know. A year, year and a half, something like that.
You only treated with Dr. Leon and probably East or West Jefferson. Those were the only providers for that accident?
That I can remember now. I don't know. He might have referred me to some more physicians, but if I had to tell you the names, I would not remember them. Believe me.
You said you were also involved in a different accident after the October 1994 accident.
Right.
Do you know when that one occurred?
It was around Christmas, before Christmas sometime.
If I told you December 13th, 1994, does that sound correct?
That sounds about right, yes.
Do you recall where this accident happened?
On St. Bernard Highway.
Do you recall what happened?
Certainly.
What happened?
I was arguing with a friend of mine.
Were you driving?
Yes,
Were you driving your own car?
I was driving my mother's car.
So you were arguing, then what happened?
We were saying words to each other and she proceeded to jump out of the vehicle. And I attempted to Judge Perry and Old Hickory.
We're not on there.
Okay, so you also have Judge Perry, Perry, and then Old Hickory, or lights, or streets. Old Hickory, Hickroy.
Those are two proper names that were not on the list.
Okay.
This is your Q&A time writing, your first one at 225 words per minute. Your proper names are Joseph N. Scott, Laurel Court, Parksville, Asna Drive, Landview Drive, The Inn, Office Supplies, Fantastic Independence, Duck Walls, Parkville High School, and GED. Ready? Would you please state your full name
Joseph N. Scott,
and your present home address?
1144 Laurel Court.
That's in Parksville?
Yes.
And do you understand what a deposition is?
Not really.
Well, I'm going to be asking you some questions. You are under oath. It's just essentially like you are in trial. In court, I mean. There just is no judge or jury here to listen to what is said, but everything that's said will be taken down by the court reporter, and you will have a chance to review the deposition and make corrections. It will serve as a basis for me to find out what you know about the things complained of in your pleadings, a little bit about you. And if your version of facts changes at time of trial, I could use it to impeach your testimony by showing inconsistent statements, all right?
Uh-huh.
You have to answer out loud to the questions so that the court reporter can put down responses.
Okay.
So do you understand what a deposition is and how it works?
Yes.
All right. Do you understand who I am?
Yes.
And if at any time during this deposition you do not hear one of my questions or understand one of my questions, will you ask me to repeat it or clarify it for you?
Yes.
Do you recall me sending you some interrogatories, written questions?
Yes.
And you provided me with written answers to those interrogatories?
Yes.
The general outline initially for this deposition is I want to go over some of the information that you gave me and expand on it. If at any time you don't recall what your answer was, it's not an exercise to try to have you see whether or not you can regurgitate it. I have them right here and you can use them, or I will tell you what they are. First of all, I had asked for some past addresses and you advised me that you lived at 8215 Asna Drive in Parksville from March of 1977 to August of 1985. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that with your parents?
Yes.
You also mentioned that you lived for 2 months during that period of time, September and November of 1984 at 1908 Landview Drive in Parksville. Where is that?
That's, where the tennis court is.
I'm not asking where literally. Why were you living at that address?
I had moved out of my parents' house with a friend for a while.
Was it an apartment?
Yes.
And then apparently you moved back in with your parents?
Yeah.
And then when you got married in April, you moved to your present address?
Yes.
On Laurel Court?
Yes.
In one interrogatory, I had asked you about past employments. On some of them, you put question marks, and I want to see if we can come up with that information. Specifically with respect to when you worked at these places, at least in general, even if you can't remember the exact dates or even the exact months, at least some time frame. Let's start with the first one that you put down. You had the Inn in Parksville as a busboy, dishwasher. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you have any idea when you worked there?
It was from the beginning of 80, I believe, until about the end of 80. So about a year.
So for approximately the entire year of 1980?
Yes.
Were you going to school at that time?
Yes.
Why did you quit?
I didn't get along with my employer.
Did you quit or were you fired?
I quit.
The next employment that you have listed is office supplies, also in Parksville, where you were working as a stock boy.
Yes.
When did you work there?
From about November to say until about May of 83.
About half a year you worked there?
Yes, about.
And why did you terminate that employment?
I was having a hard time in school, so I had to leave. That was part-time too.
So you quit?
Yes.
For the answer in the interrogatory, you put the manager for the reason for terminating the employment. What did you mean by that?
That must have been for the one before that.
Okay, that would be for the Inn where you could not get along with the manager, so you quit?
Yeah.
Next, you have Fantastic Independence. You worked there from June 4, 1983 to July 4, 1983. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then the next employment you have is Duck Walls in Parksville. Do you know approximately when you worked there?
I couldn't say. I'm not even sure them other ones are going to be right. I could call them and find out. I don't have a record of anything.
Why were you working at Duck Walls?
It was for school. I was in a class where you had to have a job,
All right.
or you had to be able to have a job.
So you were still in school at the time you worked there.
Uh-huh.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was, again, a part-time job.
Yes.
Why did you quit that employment?
I guess I just didn't like it because I didn't show up. So I don't know. I quit, but they kind of fired me at the same time because I didn't show up.
You quit by not going and they fired you because you weren't there?
Yeah.
Do you know how long you worked there?
I'd say probably about 5 months.
Going down a little bit to interrogatory 15, I asked you about your educational background and dates. You didn't put any dates. You just said Parksville High School and courses, general degree, none. When did you stop going to Parksville High School?
Say September of last year, 84.
All right. Did you go back to school for a period of time?
Yes.
After that summer?
Yes.
And then stopped after a short period of time?
Yes.
How long did you go back in 84?
Oh, I'd say a month maybe.
Was that your senior year?
Yes.
Would that have been your senior year?
Yes.
So you completed your junior year?
Yes.
Have you obtained a GED or any kind of equivalency since then?
No.
Did you voluntarily quit school or were you expelled for some reason?
I voluntarily quit.
Let's go to your present job. You work as a scraper.
Yes.
Is that still your job?
Yes.
Would you describe for us what you do as? This is your second Q&A time writing at 225 words per minute. Your only proper name is dropouts. Ready? In interrogatory 16, I had asked you about some of your activities, hobbies, recreational activities. I would like to go over those. The first one you listed was bowling. You indicated that you did that weekly and apparently still do that weekly.
Yes.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
And which hand do you bowl with?
Right.
Do you own your own bowling ball?
Yes.
Do you bowl on a league?
Yes.
What's the name of the league and when do you bowl?
The Dropouts on Monday nights.
How long have you been in a league of some kind on a regular basis?
I'd say 79, 78 or 79, around in there.
Was that year round?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it's not a summer league or winter league. It's basically a Monday night of just about all year around unless you're on vacations?
No, it's just the winter league, but it runs like 9 months out of the year, so it's pretty much year round.
Does your wife bowl in that league also?
No.
Does she bowl with you?
No.
Are you on a team?
Yes.
How much time did you miss from that activity because of the accident? I presume there was a time when you couldn't bowl.
I don't think I bowled last year, so I didn't miss any. I was just on that substitute league. That's the only year I haven't bowled was last year.
So then when the league started up again in 1985, you got back in it?
Yes.
When did it start?
I'd say July of 85.
Has your ankle injury affected your bowling at all?
No.
And the next activities, you have 3 of them listed: skiing, softball, and basketball. Do you still ski?
Yes.
When was the last time you went skiing?
Last year.
Before the accident?
Yes.
How much, let's say, before the accident, or how often did you ski?
I'd say 4 or 5 times. That was my first year too.
So you were a beginner at that time.
Uh-huh.
Is there any reason why you haven't gone up this year yet?
No, I just haven't yet.
Do you feel that you could ski if you wanted to go?
I think it would be hard to do
Why?
because of my ankle.
I mean, in what respect would it be difficult?
I don't know. I don't feel I really want to take a chance of hurting myself again.
Are you expecting to have more surgery on your ankle?
Yes.
Take the pin out?
Yes.
The next activity is softball. As I understand it, that was one of the activities you were participating in when this accident occurred.
Yes.
Were you in a league at that time?
Yes.
What league was it?
It was just a city league. I'm not sure if it had a particular name.
The league was just sponsored by the city?
Yes.
The accident happened April 21, 1985. Would that have been about the beginning of the softball season? Do you know when you started?
Yes. It was right before we started, I think.
And so you were going to a practice or were involved in a practice situation, and then you hadn't started any games yet?
Uh-huh.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you end up playing in any games that season, which would be the spring of 85?
Yes, the last couple.
Do you know how many?
Say maybe the last 4 or 5 weeks.
When did you play? I'm not asking for specific dates, but I'm talking about, was it Saturdays or nights, or did it vary?
It was Sunday evenings.
What position did you play?
I played catcher, and towards the very end, I started playing, it was second base and shortstop, if I remember right.
Had you played in that league before that summer?
No.
Had you played in any other league?
When I was younger, I think, yes.
Did you say in the year before and in 1984 you did softball regularly?
No.
So this was the first season that you started playing for your present sponsor?
Yes.
And that was because you were working there and they had the team is the reason you played?
Yes.
Did the injury to your ankle affect which position you played?
Yes.
And how?
Well, he put me on catcher because I couldn't run very well.
And then after you got better at running, you moved over to second base?
Yes.
Had you played second base before?
Well, at the beginning when we were practicing, that's the position I played, was second and first.
When you batted, did you run for yourself?
I hopped.
But they didn't have somebody standing next to you, and then after you would hit the ball, somebody would run?
No.
Did you re-injure yourself, either your ankle or any other part of your body, when you were playing softball that summer?
No.
Do you know when you finished that season?
Had to have been towards the end of July.
Have you played any ball since then?
No.
The next activity you have listed is basketball. Tell me about your participation in basketball.
I helped coach and played a little bit on a league this summer.
When was this, last summer?
Yes.
So that would be summer of 1985?
Yes.
Tell me who you coached for and how you got involved in that, if you would, please.
It was a church league.
Is that the church you go to?
Yes.
How often did you play in that league?
We played, I think, for 4 leagues.
How was it set up as far as the participants? Did they have age groups and men, women, boys, girls, that type of thing? Or how was it set up?
Yes, it was by age mostly. It was the high school age.
So you played in your age group team
Yes.
of boys.
No, it was mixed.
Boys and girls playing on one team?
Yes.
And you were one of the coaches for your team?
Yes. I was helped out when I taught and played.
Did you have any problems doing that activity because of your ankle?
Yes.
What kind of problems did you have?
Well, it didn't really bother me during the game, but that night when I went home, it would get real stiff and pop and crack and everything.
How long would it take to work out after it got sore after a game?
During the next morning, it would pretty much go away.
Any other activities or